Hello, welcome to the last section on Chapter 1, Laying Plans of the Art of War. I am Mike Liang. I am offering a series of video programs on the art of war and how to apply its wisdom to business running today. We are looking at the final parts of Chapter 1 today. And again, like I usually do, let me read the original English version of translation. Now, the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus, do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations to defeat? How much more no calculation at all? It is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. Okay, this is the original version, and let us look at the first paragraph while at the same time we move on to the next slide. You can read on the slide this full paragraph, and I would like to explain to you verbally. There is another option of understanding of this paragraph, and if I may, trying to help people understand. Look at the word temple here, the key word temple. Here it means, this temple does not mean where a Buddha is worshipped. Here temple means where the ancestors, forefathers of the king of the state are worshipped. So this is what we say a family temple. This is the first thing. So remember, Chapter 1, we are discussing about laying plan, formulate a strategy for the war. Therefore, when this strategy is being formulated, usually the king and all of his officials, all of his generals, they would gather together in the family temple so that they will have a lot of blessings from forefathers, ancestors of the king. That is one point. Now, the other thing would be look at the word calculation. Calculation, it does not mean here it's a kind of we are using a computer to make calculations. No. Here, calculation is, I am talking about the other option, and I am sure I am correct here. It is a kind of device made of either wood or bamboo. Roughly, it is 6 inches long, which is called a calculation. So you can remember it is a kind of device 6 inches long, made of wood or bamboo. Why it is that? Because remember we were talking about 5 analysis. We were talking about 7 comparisons. So these are the analysis, these are the comparisons we must make to formulate the strategy. Whenever we feel that it is favorable, we have something helpful, supportive, favorable to our state, then we get one such a device. So in Chinese, it said 胜算. If it is word for word translation, it is victory calculation. But remember, it is just a piece of device. So the more devices, the more pieces of wood or bamboo you have, it means you are stronger. and you are more likely to win the battle. So I am trying to explain here, calculation does not mean computing. Okay, it means we are kind of making analysis, and then when we are favorable, we would get one. When the opponent, we think they are stronger in this area, then we would give the other side a piece of bamboo or a piece of wood. So this is trying to explain what it means. And then if we are moving on to the next slide, I would say in the art of war, Sun Tzu was trying to tell people that a number of philosophical wisdom. I am sorry that I put some Chinese words here. Doesn't matter, because just beside that it is the English version for the Chinese words. So you could see there are two Chinese words, and each word has two Chinese characteristics. But roughly it means Sun Tzu was trying to tell us, why do we make such a thorough, very comprehensive, very detailed planning in advance? Why? Because we want to make sure we have the prior knowledge, awareness of victory, even before the war is started. So usually we say when the players of the two teams, we are out on the ground, actually a very well-planned team, he or she should have already known the result of the match. And of course, better we are the winner. Now, so this is the prior awareness of victory, and also if you look at the first sentence, this is after the 7 comparisons. Sun Tzu said, by means of these 7 considerations, I can forecast victory or defeat. And now at the end of the first chapter, Sun Tzu said, it is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. Now, having said so, we have gone through the whole chapter of chapter 1, laying plans, and I would like to take a couple of minutes to make a very comprehensive summary so that people, my friends in front of video, you would understand chapter 1 even better, or hopefully when I miss something, I can make it up here. Now, please try your best to take some notes, and if you need, of course, I can write them down in the comment areas. There are 6 key points. 6 key points I must draw your attention for the studying of chapter 1. First, chapter 1 of The Art of War is about strategic decision making. And it must be both quantitative and qualitative. And that is why the topic of this section, I put it, any strategic decision must be both quantitative and qualitative. Number 2, if we look at the very first sentence, Sun Tzu said, the art of war, it is a matter of life and death. It is a way to ruin or to safety. Now, by the very first sentence, Sun Tzu was trying to tell us, this book, it is of course about war, but Sun Tzu does not love war at all. Even though he is capable, he is competent general, he will not try to persuade his king. he is superior, let us start a war against our opponent. Well, just the opposite. He is trying to persuade his boss. He is trying to persuade every reader of the book. Let us be cautious when we are making decisions on whether to start a war or not. Later on in this book, if I am fortunate that you will be with me to the following chapters of this book, you will also see Sun Tzu was trying to persuade people not to fight, not to start a war. Try every possibility. If we can resolve it diplomatically, that would be great. And he would even say, we can overcome even without a fight. So this kind of philosophy, wisdom behind the book. So this is the second point. Sun Tzu said we must be extremely cautious when we are making a decision on start a war. Number 3, Sun Tzu offered the tools for us to make strategic decisions. And that is, I guess you should know, 5 analysis, 7 comparisons. This is the tool Sun Tzu was telling us. Now, let me tell people who are running business or you are professional managerial staff, please kindly bear in mind, if you are trying to build up a very strong organizational competencies, you should look at the 5 analysis and 7 comparisons. These are the sources where you can have your organizational strengths. Later on, you can grow them to be your competitive advantage, even core competitive advantage. Okay, this is what we say, number 3. The key messages. Number 4, if we move on, when the strategy is formulated, our decision is made, we must build a favorable external environment, circumstances, trend, and even momentum in order to be helpful for the implementation of our strategy. Now, how to build such a favorable momentum and favorable external circumstances? How? Then we move on to number 5, the key points, and that is the 12 deceptions. Remember, I was dividing the 12 deceptions into 3 groups. The first group of the 4 show off something fake, false, sham to the opponents, try to hide our genuine power, try to hide our real, genuine, true purpose. That was the first group. Second group, we were talking about there are some devices we can use when a weaker side is trying to confronting the stronger side, opponent. And the third group is make every possibility to cause the opponents to have internal chaos or mess. So these are the 12 deceptions which will help us to build the favorable external circumstances, trend, momentum. Now, the last point, number 6, we say whenever a strategic decision is to be made, we must make sure that it is based on the strengths of your national power. No matter it is hard power, soft power, or smart power. Are these sound familiar to you? So putting them all together, that is what I have been saying, referring to as the overall organizational capabilities or competencies. Okay, with this, we have come to the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, we are going to look at whenever we start a war, because we have built up the strategy in chapter 1. Then we need financial backups. We need the overall country or the overall state organization. They try to build up the supportive systems, especially financial areas, in order to raise the army. And there will be many other key messages. So really look forward to meeting all of my friends in the next chapter. Thank you so much for your patience together with me going through chapter 1, and see you next time. Thanks again. Take care.